Hey there, peeps. It's me again, Jeff, aka Nomad Fury. And I've got to tell you, peeps, that this is my very first audio podcast interview. So I'm really looking forward to it and I'm so excited. The project that we're going to discuss in this exclusive podcast session is no other than Reflect Finance. I find this very interesting, by the way, and I'm looking forward to learn some more about Reflect Finance. And my special guest for today's podcast is known as the RFI community leader. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Chapo. Thank you very much for joining us here in the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Look forward to it.
Okay, it's a great pleasure for you to be here in our podcast session, Mr. Chapo. I hope you guys are doing well, especially with the team. So, before we begin, you might want to say hello to our amazing subscribers who are listening to this podcast right now.
Hey, guys. Thanks for joining, learning a little bit about what we're doing over at RFI and the Reflect ecosystem. Hopefully, you can learn a little bit about it. And if you like what you hear, maybe you can join us.
All right, then, so let's begin. Okay, so I know you guys love to hear stories, right? We need inspiration, especially me, of course. Now, Chapo, could you share more about yourself, your journey in the crypto, blockchain, and DeFi space, and of course, how did you end up as an RFI community leader for Reflect Finance?
Sure. Yeah, I've been in the crypto space for a little over 4 years. Fascinated with blockchain technology ever since I first discovered it, and started going down the rabbit hole and ended up pretty deep into it. And I'm pretty sure I'm still lost somewhere in the depths of it. I'm not sure I'll ever find my way out. I personally have a background in engineering, business, technical sales, and management. It's my real world experience and in my career. And actually recently, about 2 months ago, left my job in order to go full time in the crypto space, which I'm really excited about. So my real world business experience kind of combined with my love and knowledge of the crypto space, and specifically now within the last year, the DeFi space, combined with the network that I've built over the years, has really allowed me to provide value to projects as an advisor. And so here within the last year, I've really enjoyed getting more deeply involved with some projects. And currently my focus is with RFI and the Reflect ecosystem. I'm honored to be considered the leader of this community, and very excited to be here talking about it.
Wow. I mean, that is a great story to hear on how you're getting interested in the crypto, blockchain, and DeFi space. I hope you guys who are listening to Chapo's journey in becoming an RFI community leader are having a little bit of inspiration as well. Anyways, Chapo, thank you so much for sharing that to us. Now, for my next question, we all know that every crypto, blockchain, and DeFi startup or business have their own missions and visions to make a huge difference. Alright, so I want to know what is currently the mission and vision of Reflect Finance, by the way, especially on how you guys want to be the difference makers in this one-of-a-kind industry.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, our mission is to become a default storage of value or wealth on the Ethereum blockchain. We want to offer financial freedom and flexibility to our supporters and holders. And those are some really high level, lofty goals. But, at Reflect, we dream big. And right now we're executing. And that's really the most important thing. We have a big dream. We have a vision to get there. We have specific roadmap items that we feel like we need to execute in order to get to that lofty goal. And right now we're delivering. So we're excited.
Now, that's very nice to hear from you about the mission and vision of Reflect Finance in the crypto, blockchain, and DeFi space. For me, I think that because of Reflect Finance mission and vision, I could say that you guys will be having a bright future ahead. So once again, thank you very much for sharing. Okay, now for this next question of mine. I honestly think that this is very important for you guys to hear, especially those who are new to Reflect Finance or just hear it for the very first time. So, Chapo, could you share to our subscribers who are listening to this podcast right now about the positive and real use cases of Reflect Finance, especially its competitive advantages and benefits for users like me?
Sure. So at its core, RFI, which is the token, in the Reflect ecosystem, RFI is the first passive income cryptocurrency token on Earth. It's got novel code that our Chad dev Morpheus has written that is the first single token which delivers yield, and it's pretty cool. So basically, it's the first token in history where you can just buy and hold it, and you'll be generating passive income with no additional steps required to make it happen. So there's no complex staking and unstaking and harvesting and yield farming and these processes that are very unfamiliar and complicated for people. You just buy and hold it, and you're done. And if you do that, you're generating passive income, and it's truly passive. You don't have to go get it. You don't have to pay to go get it. And it's real income too. It's actual fees that are generated from the network that you're getting. So it's by far the easiest way for people to get into the DeFi space. All they have to do is buy RFI and they're done. It's the safest way to earn yield in crypto too, because with RFI's mechanisms, you get to hold the tokens in your wallet the whole time. So you don't have to throw them into a staking contract that could get exploited or hacked. You just buy RFI, keep them safe in your wallet, and the yield comes to you. The passive income gets delivered to your wallet. So on top of all that, it's also a sustainable model, and it's currently growing. So you get a lot of the upside appreciation of the RFI token value itself. And if you've been following the DeFi space at all, those items and those mechanics solve a lot of the problems with DeFi right now. The safety and security and taking out some of the complexities, that's really our value proposition.
All right. Wow, I was totally blown away. This is something that I have never heard before when it comes to passive income. I've been encountering so many opportunities before who offers passive income. We all know that it's always our dream to make money or generate income while we sleep. So we're looking for something that is completely out of the box and can be great in the long run. And Reflect Finance really impressed me right now, especially that there's no need for us to stake or waiting for the fees to be delivered, that our passive earnings are automatically reflected in our balance, which was awarded by the smart contract, splitting the 1% fee to all of the holders for every transaction. Now, this is truly an amazing, real, and positive use case. So thank you very much for sharing to us about it, Chapo. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. I certainly believe that partnerships are one of the key factors of the project's long-term growth. Okay, so here's the thing, Chapo. Who are currently your project partners on board with Reflect Finance right now?
So Reflect Finance, RFI is really just a protocol, but the RFI community has formed a foundation that we call the Reflect Foundation, which is an entity that really looks after the best interest of RFI holders. And the Reflect Foundation has formed a partnership with a project called Elevate, ELE. And so they're our first and only partner right now. But we do have another critical partnership that's launching here within the next week or so called OnReach. And the OnReach project combined with Elevate in the Reflect ecosystem will be like a three-headed monster. And certainly the trifecta is going to be a force to be reckoned with here. We're building out this whole ecosystem of projects, and these will be the first two that fit into this. More partnerships will be formed in the coming months, I'm sure, as we continue to build, and they're all going to be centered and hopefully unlock value for RFI holders.
Okay, so at least we've heard from you about the recent project partners that are currently on board with Reflect Finance. I certainly believe that with these partnerships you have, it could really contribute towards the long-term growth of Reflect Finance, and it's quite impressive, by the way. So thank you very much for sharing it to us, Chapo. Alright, so let's move on to the next question. I have to be honest with you. I think this is a question that most of the guest speakers that I have interviewed from the past, they are so excited to share on what they have accomplished from the beginning until now. Okay, Chapo, could you share some of the achievements that Reflect Finance have from the beginning until now? I'm definitely sure that our listeners here on this podcast would love hearing this from you. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, one of the exciting things right now is that we just reached our all-time high in real wallet holders. It's something that we're tracking every day. When I say real wallet holders, there is a pretty long tail of holders that have less than one RFI in their wallet, so they just have dust in their wallet, and we don't feel like those people are a very good representation of how many true supporters and community members we have. So we filter out all of the dust wallet holders. I think we actually have like 8,000 actual wallet holders, but the real wallet holders who hold at least one RFI, we just hit our all-time high at around 4,000. And so that's an achievement which we're all celebrating. It shows that the community is growing, and we're continuing to build the RFI army. The other thing that's pretty awesome is that the whole way that RFI works, where the rewards and where this passive income comes from, is that we charge a 1% fee for every buy, sell, and send of RFI. And that 1% fee gets redistributed as rewards to all the holders in real time, instantly, with no cost, which is really what's so novel about RFI and about Reflect. Because the fee, or because the rewards come from a 1% fee on volume, it's really important for us to generate volume. That's where all the fees come from. So we track our daily transaction volume, which is where the fees are getting generated from. And currently we're averaging about $1.5 million a day in daily transactions, which means that we're paying out $15,000 a day in rewards to our holders. And given that we're only, we're less than 3 months old right now, we have an unbelievable amount of future growth plans as we build out this ecosystem and as we build projects around RFI. It's something that we're really proud of, to say that we have $1.5 million worth of sustained daily transaction volume, and that we're currently distributing over $15,000 a day. So I'd say combined between our all-time all-time high in wallet holders and our ability at this point to sustain volume and continue to grow, those are the two things we're most proud of.
Wow, seriously. You guys came a long way to achieve those things for Reflect Finance. I know you guys had a long journey back, and look where you guys at right now. It's such a great feeling that you guys have achieved all of this. So once again, Chapo, thank you for sharing it to us, and I hope you guys have learned something from our amazing guest speaker in today's podcast session. Okay, so aside from the achievements, I know that we are all not exempted from experiencing challenges from time to time, not just in crypto, blockchain, and DeFi space, but also in other aspects of life. There are times that we already experience or encounter worst case scenarios on whatever projects we have. Now, I have a question for you, Chapo. What are some of the challenges, no matter if they're small or big, that you or the entire team are facing from the beginning until now? And how you guys cope up with these challenges?
Yeah, it's interesting. There's challenges almost every single day when you're a startup, which most of these projects, and we consider ourselves still a startup. There's a lot of bumps in the road. There's a lot of things to work through. I'd say we have one of the most talented leadership groups of any project I've ever seen. We have former managers from Facebook and Uber who ran product growth development. We have one of the key investors and leaders built a $100 million telecom business. We have some very intelligent people who are strong-willed and are ready to work together towards our goal. And to have people like that, and to be surrounded by people like that who are passionate about delivering what we've laid out as a vision, that's how you get through the challenges. Everybody here on the leadership team for Reflect has been through a lot in their life and has overcome a lot in order to be successful and to get to where we are today. And as a group, that's really how we overcome challenges. We work together, we brainstorm, we think about the right approach in order to get through them, and we move ahead together. And I certainly couldn't do this alone. I mean, the support of the community and the other people in this leadership group are what gets us through anything.
Wow, that's very nice. So All I could say is that you guys are definitely awesome in facing these challenges. I certainly believe that with those challenges that you're still facing right now, I had no doubts that you guys could overcome that. It's not all about escaping the storm, but to go through it, and that is totally inspiring. So, Chapo, thank you very much for sharing it to us. Now, for the next question, I know that this is something that most of the crypto, blockchain, and DeFi enthusiasts are looking forward to each project that they are supporting these days. They are always looking forward to the future plans of these projects. Now, speaking of the future plans, could you share what's yours like in the next few years or so?
Sure. I always joke around that in DeFi or in crypto, a day is a week and a week is a month and a month is a year. So if you're talking about the next few years, I feel like that's asking me what our project's going to be doing for the next 50 or 100 years. A little bit of a difficult question to answer. I think we're mostly focused on the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months, rather than the next 3 to 6 years. But we have a vision of building this sustainable ecosystem that can last for years to come. Really what Reflect is all about is building out this ecosystem of integrated projects. It's a collective. It's a collaboration of many projects that are all revolving around RFI at the center of them. By building out projects that have utility, that are centered around RFI, it creates volume and it creates demand for RFI token. And when you do that, it increases the yield and it increases buy pressure on RFI. And so it unlocks value for RFI holders. And if you continue to build and create an ecosystem of projects that are centered around RFI, it creates that sustainability that you don't have one point of failure. And it is something that can last for years to come, provide a platform for future growth so that the growth doesn't ever stop. And in the next few years, we plan on having an ecosystem of countless projects that are all centered around providing that sustained value. So we really want to have a large collective of projects that are helping each other create that passive income for RFI holders and maintain a high sustainable APY and give people financial freedom.
All right, so it looks like we are looking forward to those amazing future plans that you have for the RFI community. And to be honest, it looks promising to me and it's going to be really exciting. So, Chapo, thank you so much for sharing to us about the future plans of Reflect Finance. And aside from those future plans that you have for the RFI community, we all know that we're also looking forward to those updates about the project. So, Chapo, could you share some of the exciting updates that you have for the RFI community? Like any spoilers that you would like to share to us right here on our exclusive podcast?
Sure. With the we have this OnReach launch that is imminent at this point, and OnReach is really going to unlock some very, very cool things for RFI holders. Number one, you may have seen on Twitter and on some of our socials that we're going to be creating the RFI bond. Because we're the first yield generating asset ever in crypto, it's allowing us to create a financial product that mirrors a bond in the traditional market. And if you look at the traditional market, this is a $120 trillion bond market. We see the financial market getting digitized very quickly and coming into the digital asset space. And this is a market that's currently not served by crypto. So we're talking about a $120 trillion market that we have a solution for through RFI and OnReach. So this is just a massive opportunity for us as a community to go seize. And it's imminent now with the launch of OnReach. Additionally, this launch of OnReach into the ecosystem, RFI holders for the first time are going to be able to collateralize their RFI. So you'll be able to take your RFI and you're going to be able to borrow against it. So people who want to hold their RFI but may want additional liquidity to go do some other things, they're going to be able to go take a loan against their RFI. So that's going to provide a lot of flexibility to holders. And again, with the launch of OnReach, and this is really cool, I love saying it, but with the launch of OnReach, we're actually going to be able to offer our holders, those who hold RFI and elevate liquidity, are going to be able to stake and farm that And for the first time in crypto history, we're going to be able to offer sextuple yield. So there's actually 6 different sources of yield or income that will be generated through that staking pair, which is just totally unheard of. I mean, most passive income sources or most income sources right now in crypto are single source. And we're now talking about creating a product and an opportunity for users to earn yield from 6 different places at the same time. Really exciting, right? We've got a $120 trillion market we're attacking. We're going to be able to offer our users the ability to borrow against their assets for the first time. And we also are creating a product that has 6 different streams of income all combined into one for the first time ever in crypto. So I'd say there's a lot of exciting stuff to share that's coming up.
Wow. I mean, those updates you have for the RFI community are totally exciting, and we are looking forward to that as well. For me, I think this is really, really, really necessary for a crypto project to give consistent updates to their community and getting them hyped for some spoilers. And I'm glad that you guys are doing that. So, Chapo, thank you very much for that. So let's move on to our final question for this podcast interview session. Assuming that you have introduced me to Reflect Finance, and it's my first time hearing about that project. Now, Chapo, could you tell me why is it that we should not miss out on Reflect Finance? Like, what is it for me if I am going to grab RFI tokens right now than later?
Well, a lot of our community, the reason why they got into RFI is that it's the easiest access into DeFi. DeFi is by far, hands down, the fastest growing part of the cryptocurrency space right now. It's gone from a less than $1 billion market a year ago to over an $80 billion market today. So we're talking about almost 100x in the last year in the DeFi space. And that the pace of acceleration and growth is not slowing right now, it's accelerating. DeFi is complicated to get into, but RFI makes it easy. So you can get exposure into the fastest growing part of crypto, which is fast growing already. And the easiest way to do it is something that's very familiar to everybody. You just go buy a token. You don't have to understand staking and farming and harvesting and yield, crop generation and that sort of thing. You just go buy RFI. And that in and of itself is really, I'll say, one of the best value propositions we have is just giving people easy access into the DeFi space. When you do that, though, RFI provides the simplicity of getting in, but you're getting into something that's safe and sustainable also. And that's really the key here, is that we're not asking users to take this big risk of putting it into these contracts that they're unfamiliar with that may or may not be audited. We're not providing new tokens that are going to depreciate in value over time. We've created a safe and sustainable place where people can come put their funds and earn income, and we made it easy. So, we've got a killer team right now that's building out this massive concept, as you just heard, with all the exciting stuff that's coming. We're executing. It's super early right now. RFI is not even 3 months old. And we have this team of people in this leadership group that has an immense amount of real world experience, who's grown some incredibly large organizations before. And right now we're talking about a $20 million total market cap project. And we have the plan to make it $1 billion market cap with our roadmap. So there's tons of upside. And if you capture that upside by getting in now early, this investment, if successful, will not only provide you that upside, but it will also provide you long-lasting passive income for years to come. So you're getting a cheap entry fee to long-lasting passive income, and it's easy to go get.
Okay, so guys, you've heard it from Chapo himself on why we should be grabbing some RFI tokens right now rather than later. And hopefully you guys finally understand how Reflect Finance works and its impressive ecosystem. Hopefully this would shed you guys some light that RFI is something that you can't afford to miss because of its huge potential to grow in the long run. So Chapo, thank you very much for that. And before we end, could you invite our subscribers here who are listening to us right now in our exclusive podcast to check out your website, social media channels, etc. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, sure. You can check out our Reflect Foundation Twitter page if you'd like. We've got, our primary community is centered around Telegram. So we actually, one of the best ways to learn about Reflect is typically to join our Telegram group. And if you join the Reflect Finance Telegram group, we have a weekly community update and AMA every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time or 9 p.m. UTC. It's pretty cool. It's one of the only projects that I've ever seen that's done this. But basically, once a week, we get our community together to provide a full update on what's happened in the last week, and also a vision of what we're trying to accomplish in the next week and in the months to come. And we host an open AMA for our community to engage with the leadership group and ask any questions they might have and learn a little bit more about Reflect as a project and provide suggestions and that sort of thing. And then we create a newsletter every week also that we send out to our community that provides a summary of everything that was talked about in our weekly community update and AMA. So it's a really great way to make sure that our investors and our community are fully up to date on what we're doing, what we've done, and where we're headed. And so that constant weekly communication with our community is just awesome. We've received a ton of positive feedback about it, and I'd encourage anybody listening here to check it out. So come join our Telegram group. Reflect Finance Telegram group and check it out. And you're welcome to join us today. I guess we'll be hosting this weekly one here at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, just like we always do.
Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest speaker for today's podcast interview, the RFI community leader, Chapo. So once again, Chapo, thank you very much for your time with us right now. I have truly enjoyed our discussion and also learning more about Reflect Finance, especially those stuff that I've never heard before. Wow, I'm truly amazed. So thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
And of course, I would like to thank all of our subscribers here on YouTube who are listening to our exclusive podcast interview with Chapo. I hope you guys have learned from him as well. If you have any questions regarding Reflect Finance or something that I have never covered in this session, just feel free to drop your comments right here on my YouTube video. And if you think that this interview is quite helpful for you regarding Reflect Finance, kindly don't hesitate or think twice in sharing this to your crypto, blockchain, and DeFi friends out there. And one more thing, peeps, I'm inviting you to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more videos regarding cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, and DeFi. And you can also follow my social media channels right here or in my YouTube description. Okay, so from my freaking home studio, this is Jeff, aka Nomad Fury, and see you all on my next video. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you, Chapo.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.